G'day guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing a review of an action/thriller from Norway, Norwegian language English subs, released in the year 2012, directed by Raw Utag, and this movie is called Escape. And the story to Escape is as follows. 10 years after the Black Death has ravaged the land, a poor family on a desolate mountain pass is ambushed by a pack of merciless killers. 19-year-old Signa is the lone survivor. Held hostage and facing a fate worse than death, Signa manages to flee her captors, but her escape does not go unnoticed. Now the chase is on. So the movie centers upon Signa and her family, her younger brother, mother and father. They are going through, they're very poor, and they're living in the age of the Black Death. It's just a few years after the Black Death, so the whole land of Norway has been ravaged, and there seems like there's no hope. So they're all traveling through this mountain pass, and they are ambushed by a pack of merciless killers. Now the killers have killed the younger brother, the mother and father, and they've taken Signa hostage. So they take Signa back to their camp, and this is where Signa realizes that there is a fate worse than death for her. So in order to escape this fate, she has to basically break free, and that's exactly what she does one morning. But her escape doesn't go unnoticed, and pretty soon the killers are on her path. So whether or not she can outsmart her captors, that's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on the film. I had hesitations coming into this one because it is a very, very simplistic film. That's my biggest criticism of it. But I will say that Raw Utag does simplicity very, very well. Now, if you're not familiar with Raw Utag, he actually directed the Cold Prey film, the first Cold Prey film, which is a very, very good slasher movie. And the thing that took me by surprise with Cold Prey was the atmosphere. As far as cinematography, acting, and just a sheer sense of dread, I thought Cold Prey stood out more than most slasher films, because that's something you don't really get. With slasher films, it relies more on gore and a memorable killer, but in Cold Prey, it had a strong sense of atmosphere, dread, and suspense. So that's something I was hoping that would happen in Escape, and that although it wasn't going to blow you away with originality, it was still going to strike you with the way it's made, and that's exactly what you get. As far as production value in Escape is concerned, this is top-notch, and it's well worth the visit, just for the sheer fact that it is atmospheric, and the acting and everything else to the film is done very, very well, and that kind of overshadows the negative of the simplicity. So for a film, if you want something that's going to have twists and turns, it's something that is not for you. It is just a simple chase film. But what I loved about it was the fact that it was very good in its simplicity. I thought it was very surprising that the characters were well developed, and you get a strong sense of sympathy. It's not just an action film. It is a film about loss. It's a film about innocence lost in a world that has been ravaged by disease, and the desperation from the corrupting source, which is the killers. And I was really surprised to see that not only is Signa the main sort of sympathy, the sympathy of the villain was also there. So it was really a feeling of conflicting emotions, where you kind of feel that the bad guy is doing the bad things for a reason. You can understand them, but at no stage do you ever sympathize enough with her to overshadow the fact that Signa, the main character, was going through hell as well. So really, the overwhelming sense of humanity is the main victim here, where Mother Nature has inflicted such a devastating thing that has forced these people to do what they're actually doing in the film. So the character development was pretty bare, and it doesn't have a lot of time for character development, but Raw Utag takes advantage of the time that he has. So the main actress played, her name is Isabel Christine Andreasen. So she did a fantastic job as this young girl who was put into this nightmare situation. Never heard of her before, but I'm sure she is a name of the future. I thought her character, she just witnessed her young brother die. She's witnessed the slaughter of her mother and father. It is no, circumstance that you want to see anyone go through, but she has had to go through this, and she's pretty much had to grow up very quickly, because there's another little girl that she befriends that she takes the mother role. So it's kind of innocence that has just been thrust taken away from her, and the harsh reality is just thrust upon her. So that was something I wasn't expecting, and that's something that really does lift the film, because when she's being chased, you want to see her escape. You want to see her get to a better life, and you just don't know if that's going to happen because of the way it's been done. Now, the main villain. Now, that's the biggest surprise I have of the film. Now, usually with these simplistic films, they're made for action purposes, and the characters are clear-cut, bad versus good. But what I really liked about it was, as I said, the real tragedy of it all is that humankind has been subjected to such a harsh of Mother Nature, kind of the Black Death, has been thrust upon it. Therefore, the desperation of the bad guys make them, a little bit more than just bad guys. Now, the main character of Dagmar, the main villain, played by Ingrid Bolso-Baldal, who was also the main heroine of the film Coldplay. She was in Coldplay. She was the main sort of hero of that film. So it appears that she is a fan of Royal Utag, and I think they work well together. This time she plays a villain. I thought her backstory was really heartbreaking, and although she is doing this, you can understand what she's doing and why she's doing it. You still don't get a sense of sympathy for her because of what Signa is having to go through. But it gives her more than just a 2D approach. She's a very rich and depth sort of character. She's a villain, but she is just really, really scary. And Ingrid Bolso-Baldal plays her role very, very well. You get a sense of sympathy, but you also get a sense of dread, and you really are scared of this character. She is a real villain, but she's a humane villain. She has a lot more to her than just, cold-hearted killer. So that is, the characters is what's going to really hit you very hard. And that's something, as I said, which is a very, very pleasant surprise. I was not expecting it. The acting, as I said, from the others was very, very good. It does feel like a very polished piece. The music was absolutely phenomenal. There's a lot of emotion in it. As I said, emotion is something that's going to strike you by surprise. And what I loved about the film the most, and this is what is going to set the film out, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to appreciate this, is the cinematography. It really has a strong sense of beauty and at the same time dread, because it's been ravaged by this deadly plague. But at the same time, the atmosphere, the cinematography of the wilderness was absolutely beautiful. It was very captivating. It gets you straight into it. If you don't like the film, it's still going to be something to look at. It's absolutely beautiful in the visuals, as is the case with the Coldplay series. And the ending was a little bit theatrical. It would kind of felt like an action film by the end, but that is not going to dampen anything in what was a very, very memorable film. Yes, it is very, very simplistic, but it is going to capture you by the way that the characters are told, and the suspense sequences are very, very good. Choreography in the action sequences also very, very good. A little bit of far-fetched quality here and there, but overall what you get is simplicity done to perfection. I really enjoyed this one, and I'm sure a lot of you out there will, if you don't mind putting up with some English subtitles. So overall, going to give it 3.5 stars. Fantastic stuff. Highly, highly recommended. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.